day after the heart-wrenching day of Medinat Israel removing 40 families from Amona, the first reaction of a Ben Torah, Bat Torah, is one of Imo Anochi B'tzara, of the pain of families. Very, very difficult to understand within our own sovereignty. Very, very difficult. As we get closer to Parshat Bo, today I celebrated a bar mitzvah of a person who made Aliyah 2.5 years ago. And his son coming, and you see the building, and you have these mixed emotions of Chorban and Binyan, of understanding the steps going forward and going backwards. What do we do with these mixed emotions? The crying and the smachot together. I think in Parshas Bo, cannot be a better Parsha to talk about this connection between Eretz Yisrael and Torah. Where I was reading the Chafetz Chaim, and I would thought that it was really Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kook that mentioning in this week's Parsha, at the end, where Eretz Yisrael is called Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash. There are stories of the Chafetz Chaim, who wanted to come to Eretz Yisrael, but his wife got sick. When he was told about the Balfour Declaration, and he cried. He said, the Torah says, Ufaratzta yama v'kedma v'tzafona v'negba. What is going on? Chafetz Chaim and the Meshech Chacham and others, there's a machloket in philosophy of this connection of Torah and Eretz Yisrael. Everyone agrees there's an intrinsic connection of Torah and Eretz Yisrael, as in our Parsha, where the bar mitzvah boy with the tefillin, the Gemara in Kiddushin says, Asay v'ya ki tavo al aretz, Asay mitzvah zo shebishvila tikanes l'Eretz Yisrael. Or that says Morasha and Morasha 2 times, by Eretz Yisrael and Torah. But the philosophical machlokas, that on one level the Chafetz Chaim on this week's Parsha, the Meshech Chacham and Parshas Kitisa, is that the one svara is that Torah is the neshama and Eretz Yisrael is the guf. And the nefesh cannot be without the guf, and the guf cannot be without the nefesh. And Chafetz Chaim explains that Nishmat Yisrael is the Torah, and the guf is Eretz Yisrael. The neshama can't be without the guf. And therefore mitzvot, atzliyot ba'aretz cannot be done outside of Eretz Yisrael. Galut is not where we're supposed to be, and it's not the long-term answer. However, he says Eretz Yisrael without Torah is a piece of land. Dirt without the neshama. However, former chief rabbi of Tel Aviv, and a famous passage by Rav Kook in the Orot, explains that Eretz Yisrael is not a davar chitzoni. It's not something that just is a means for coming back to go away from assimilation, being able to make sure that we don't have another Holocaust, lo aleinu. Actually, this past week, I had the privilege, I would call it, I guess, to speak for 10 minutes to some South African pastors here in Yeshiva HaKotel. And one of the pastors asked me, Rabbi, there's so many Jews all around the world. Why doesn't Judaism go and connect like Islam and Christianity? Why not? And explain and connect. And I answered him that your 2 assumptions, one of them you're right, one of them you're wrong. One of them is that ultimately we're there to be God's people and share God's world of Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah. But the other point is that we need, and that's why we have a yeshiva, not only rabbinical students, to connect on the inside, to understand who we are as an identity. And as much as Eretz Yisrael helps with that identity, back to Rav Kook, That's not the only message also. To come to Eretz Yisrael, just to come to the Kotel, get a certain adrenaline of mitzvot, says Rav Kook. It's very nice, but that is still not what it's still not the ideal, it's still the Shalol Lishma. Eretz Yisrael, each piece of land is not just guf. Each piece is something intrinsic that's kadosh. This could be what the Gemara says, that any time you walk 4 amos in Eretz Yisrael, you get Olam Haba. The Magen Avraham brings down. Each part you're walking with Kedusha. You're walking the Armon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Obviously, everybody would agree the ideal is to have Eretz Yisrael in Torah. But whether you go like the Chavetz Chaim's approach, or you go like Rav Kook, I think we all have to, number one, chazak, v'nitchazek, both in our connection to Torah, our connection to Eretz Yisrael and Medinat Yisrael. It's so easy to go and criticize. But the other angle is that, Baruch Hashem, we have amazing people here, but they're in pain. And one of our messages have to be what I would call Rabak Shel Ava. It's an expression in Israel. It means we all have platitudes to say Avat Chinam. This is a time called Nikudat Birur, when people are in pain, not to just go back onto your Facebook, not to just go and watch another show, but to be able to go to your next door neighbor and make sure to be mechazek of ahava, because it's so much easier to go on the comments and be cynical and give a criticism of Bibi Netanyahu and a criticism of this Likud government and now Herzog and everything, everyone in their own parshanut and using their Gemara cup. But we don't need as much the Gemara cup as what we need the Levi Yehudi. That's what we need, to be able to mechazek, to be nosei ba'ol chaveru, and be'ezrat Hashem will be chazak v'nitchazek as we go in Parshat Bo. Shabbat Shalom.